What you are about to hear is not a statement of facts, but an exploration of unsettling theories, observable phenomena, and profound questions about humanity's present trajectory. This video aims to provoke thought, encourage self-reflection, and ignite a personal inquiry, not to present definitive truths or cause panic. The responsibility for final interpretation and the choice to awaken is always yours. Something monumental is being prepared for 2026, hidden in plain sight, yet no one is talking about it. This video uncovers the chilling, subtle signs of a global blueprint for control, the invisible digital chains of universal identity, engineered consensus shaping our reality, and the resource consolidation play securing vital necessities. Are we sleepwalking into a future where control is the currency of the future? Discover the unsettling truth of what they're building, and why silence is the most terrifying clue. Look around you. At the gleaming skyscrapers of New York City, their glass facades reflecting a seemingly prosperous world. At the sprawling suburban landscapes of Texas, where familiar routines unfold behind manicured lawns. Or at the serene farmlands of the Midwest, stretching to horizons that promise endless possibilities. On the surface, life moves with a comforting, almost hypnotic normalcy. Businesses churn, families grow, and the news cycle shifts with predictable, often overwhelming chaos. But beneath this familiar veneer, something profound is shifting. Something is being meticulously prepared, quietly, systematically, for a pivotal year, 2026. And perhaps the most unsettling fact of all, no one is truly talking about it. This isn't about a sudden cataclysmic event announced by flashing red lights or blaring alarms. It's about a subtle, pervasive orchestration, a series of seemingly unrelated advancements and shifts that, when meticulously pieced together, form a chilling blueprint for a future designed by unseen architects. History has taught us that true power rarely announces itself with fanfare. It operates in the shadows, through influence, through the meticulous manipulation of trends and perception. As those who dare to look closer, who truly question the nature of reality, understand, control is the currency of the future. For decades, whispers of global elites, secret societies, and hidden agendas have persisted, like echoes from a forgotten past. Dismissed by many as mere conspiracy theories, the fanciful ramblings of the paranoid, these narratives often point to unsettling patterns that defy simple coincidence. What if the most powerful among us, those who truly hold the reins of global influence, are not merely reacting to unfolding events, but are, in fact, engineering them? What if the chaos we perceive on our screens, the societal anxieties we feel deep within, are not random occurrences, but carefully managed processes, designed to usher in a new era where power is consolidated, freedom is redefined, and the average citizen's autonomy is subtly eroded almost imperceptibly? This video will pull back the curtain on these unsettling truths. We will expose 3 chilling categories of these secret preparations, phenomena so seamlessly integrated into our modern existence that we often accept them as mere progress, as necessary advancements, or as benign conveniences. But what if they are, in reality, symptoms of a master plan designed to fundamentally reshape human society by 2026? A plan so vast, so insidious, so utterly audacious, that its very success relies on public ignorance, on the collective willingness to remain asleep. The question isn't just what they're preparing for. It's why the silence around it is so absolute, why the very mention of these patterns is met with derision. It's time to pull back the curtain on the quiet revolution already underway, a revolution that seeks to make control the ultimate currency. The first, and perhaps most pervasive preparation for 2026, is the quiet forging of what we call the invisible digital chains. This isn't about physical shackles or overt oppression, but a ubiquitous, unseen infrastructure meticulously designed to monitor, manage, and ultimately control every facet of human life. It's marketed to us as ultimate convenience, as seamless security, and as unparalleled efficiency, the promise of a frictionless existence. Its true purpose, however, appears to be a level of absolute, pervasive control previously confined to the darkest corners of dystopian fiction. Picture the rapid, almost stealthy rollout of advanced biometric integration across the United States. Beyond just airport security checkpoints, where fingerprint and facial scans are now standard, these technologies are being subtly implemented in everyday public spaces. Major retail outlets in California's Silicon Valley are quietly testing discrete scanners that identify shoppers upon entry, tracking their movements and purchasing habits without their explicit consent. Entertainment venues in New York City, from sold-out concert halls to bustling sports arenas, are actively promoting biometric entry systems, bypassing traditional tickets for a frictionless experience that simultaneously builds a comprehensive database of attendees. Even some modernized public transport hubs in cities like Chicago are piloting facial recognition for fare payment, ostensibly to streamline daily commutes. These technologies operate silently, continuously collecting vast amounts of data on our movements, our purchases, our very identities, all under the innocuous guise of enhancing public safety or streamlining access. The sheer volume of this data being aggregated on every citizen is staggering, the very bedrock of a digital control state. Alongside this, a more profound and insidious shift is occurring, the quiet development of a universal digital identity system. This isn't just an updated driver's license or a digital passport. It's a comprehensive framework designed to consolidate every aspect of your personal data. This proposed system, championed for its seamless access to a multitude of services, from healthcare records and financial transactions to voting eligibility and even housing applications, inherently creates a dynamic, constantly updated digital trust score for every citizen. This score, influenced by your online behavior, your spending habits, your compliance with ever-shifting social norms, and even your personal health data, could, by 2026, silently grant or restrict your access to crucial aspects of daily life. Pilot programs, often launched in smaller, less scrutinized communities or as part of voluntary initiatives, are testing the public's acceptance of this interwoven digital existence. The allure of convenience is the irresistible bait. The inherent traceability and manageability of every single aspect of your life are the silent chains. The physical manifestation of this pervasive digital infrastructure is equally alarming, yet largely goes unnoticed. Across the sprawling, often remote landscapes of Midwest, in states like Kansas and Nebraska, unexplained, massive construction projects are quietly underway. These are rarely publicly acknowledged as government initiatives. Instead, they are presented as innocuous data storage facilities or private research centers by shell corporations with opaque ownership structures. But their sheer scale, their advanced security protocols, their vast, underground, often off-grid locations, strongly suggest highly specialized, resilient infrastructure built for storing and processing unprecedented volumes of personal and societal data. These subterranean fortresses are the very backbone of a centralized digital control grid, meticulously designed to operate impervious to conventional disruption, even in the event of widespread societal collapse. The implications of these invisible digital chains are chilling to their very core. Every digital interaction, every movement captured by a smart city sensor, every financial transaction, all become meticulously traceable and, ultimately, completely manageable. The convenience offered is the irresistible bait that lulls us into acceptance. The data collected, the currency being amassed, enables a level of social and financial control that was once relegated to the darkest pages of dystopian fiction. By 2026, these digital chains will be so seamlessly integrated, so utterly pervasive, that breaking free would require disconnecting entirely from society itself, becoming a modern-day ghost. And the terrifying truth? No one is talking about it because the process is too gradual, too enticingly convenient, too subtly implemented to trigger widespread alarm. The silence is the sound of the chains being forged. The second profoundly disturbing preparation for 2026 delves into the very architecture of our minds, of our collective perception, the engineered consensus. This isn't about controlling what we say through overt censorship or iron-fisted dictatorships. Instead, it's about meticulously shaping what we think, what we believe, and ultimately, what we perceive as reality itself. It's a sophisticated, pervasive psychological conditioning designed to subtly manipulate public opinion and create a widespread, unchallenged agreement on a mass scale, without the need for visible coercion. Imagine your daily news consumption, your social media feed. Every headline, every article, every video you scroll past is not a random collection of information. It is increasingly curated by complex, unseen algorithms. This isn't just about showing you what you want to see. It's about subtly nudging public discourse towards predetermined narratives, amplifying certain viewpoints while systematically suppressing dissenting perspectives by classifying them as misinformation, conspiracy theories, or harmful content. This occurs not through overt censorship, but by making crucial information simply invisible or less accessible, pushing it to the farthest corners of the digital realm, particularly around sensitive political, social, or global topics. The truth isn't banned. It's buried under an avalanche of curated content, a perpetual digital white noise. The rapid rise of hyper-realistic AI-generated content is the ultimate, most insidious tool in this engineering of reality. Deepfakes, once a novelty seen in viral videos, are now so advanced they can create utterly convincing political speeches from non-existent leaders, news anchors delivering fabricated reports that mimic reality perfectly, and even synthetic social media influencers shaping public opinion, all indistinguishable from human originals. These powerful AI tools are being used to subtly inject specific messages, to rewrite historical narratives, or even to create entirely fabricated events that then become real in the public consciousness, shaping collective memory in real time. By 2026, discerning truth from engineered reality will become not just difficult, but for the average person, almost impossible without extreme vigilance. Behavioral science insights, once confined to academic journals, are now being meticulously applied to public policy and marketing on a global scale. Governments and corporations are increasingly utilizing advanced psychological profiling and nudge theory to subtly guide societal behaviors towards desired outcomes. These aren't mandates. They're subtle influences embedded in digital platforms, public health campaigns, and consumer marketing strategies. Wellness or mental health apps, often AI-driven, collect vast amounts of behavioral data, analyze emotional states, and then nudge users towards compliant behaviors or certain worldviews, all under the seemingly benevolent guise of improving well-being or promoting social harmony. This creates a population that is increasingly self-regulating according to invisible, predetermined parameters, policing its own thoughts and actions. The cumulative effect of this engineered consensus is a society where collective thought is molded by unseen architects. Debates become circular, critical thinking withers into reactive emotional responses, and genuine skepticism is replaced by a desperate longing for simple answers, even if those answers are carefully constructed lies. The very fabric of shared reality begins to fray, replaced by a pervasive manufactured agreement. The chilling reality? No one is talking about it because the process is too subtle, too seamlessly integrated into our daily lives, and too comforting to question. The truth, buried under layers of engineered information, is dismissed as conspiracy. Control is the currency of the future, and by shaping what we perceive as true, what we believe, what we feel, they control everything. The third, and perhaps most tangibly alarming preparation for 2026 delves into the very essence of human survival, the resource consolidation play. This isn't about natural market forces or typical business expansion. It involves the quiet, large-scale acquisition of vital natural resources and key logistical infrastructure by anonymous private entities or shell corporations across the United States. These purchases are seemingly unrelated, yet they are strategically positioned for future control over the very necessities of life. Consider the unexplained massive private land purchases across the vast, often remote, landscapes of the American West. In states like Nevada, Arizona, and Texas, enormous parcels of land, often previously undervalued or dismissed as unproductive, are being acquired at prices far above market value. These acquisitions are frequently executed by newly formed, untraceable shell corporations. Their ownership structure is deliberately obscured behind layers of legal obfuscation. What makes these purchases particularly alarming is their strategic location, often near dwindling freshwater sources like major aquifers or crucial river basins, highly fertile agricultural lands, even those currently fallow, or key logistical hubs such as major rail lines, interstate junctions, and forgotten port facilities. This isn't typical real estate speculation. It suggests a long-term strategic play, a chilling anticipation of a future where access to basic necessities becomes the ultimate, most potent tool of leverage and power. Alongside these land grabs, there's a low-profile, yet incredibly significant, construction of secure, self-sustaining community hubs or resource storage facilities in remote, often isolated areas. These facilities, frequently built deep underground or in heavily fortified off-grid locations, are ostensibly marketed for disaster preparedness or as luxury survival retreats for the ultra-wealthy. However, their sheer scale, their advanced military-grade security systems, and the profound secrecy surrounding their development hint at a far more ominous purpose. Resilient infrastructure, meticulously designed for elite control and distribution of resources during a major societal transition or collapse. These are not merely bunkers. They are command centers for future resource governance, ready to dictate terms of existence. Evidence also points to massive private, distinct from government, stockpiling of essential resources, conducted quietly and without public announcement. We're talking about vast quantities of non-perishable food supplies, advanced medical equipment and pharmaceuticals, and specific rare earth minerals crucial for advanced technology. These immense stockpiles are not for public emergency preparedness. They are being accumulated by private corporations or shadowy groups, anticipating a major global shift or disruption where access to basic necessities, food, water, medicine, becomes the ultimate, most powerful tool of control. By controlling who owns the land, who controls the water, who controls the food supply, and the means to transport them, one ultimately controls life itself. The implications are chilling beyond words. This resource consolidation play is a silent takeover of the very fundamentals of human survival, a meticulous chess game being played on a global board. By 2026, these strategic acquisitions could give unseen forces unprecedented, absolute power to dictate terms of existence, turning scarcity into a weapon of compliance. The fact that these massive, synchronized efforts are happening without widespread public discussion or alarm is perhaps the most terrifying indicator of their true purpose. Control is the currency of the future, and its value is being meticulously established from the ground up, preparing for a future where access, not money, defines freedom, and compliance is the only path to survival. Individually, these preparations might seem like disparate, albeit concerning, trends, the natural evolution of technology, logical responses to global challenges, or shrewd, if aggressive, business investments. But when we connect the dots, when we perceive the invisible digital chains, the engineered consensus, and the resource consolidation play, not as isolated phenomena, but as intricately interwoven facets of a single, overarching design, the true chilling nature of the 2026 blueprint begins to emerge with terrifying clarity. There are no coincidences, only plans. This understanding transforms seemingly random chaos into a meticulously orchestrated symphony of control. Imagine a future not far from now where your every movement, every purchase, every digital interaction, every thought expressed online is meticulously tracked and assigned a dynamic digital trust score by a pervasive, universal digital identity system, the invisible digital chains. Your access to essential financial services, your ability to travel freely, even your eligibility for advanced healthcare or specific resources, are directly tied to this constantly updated score, managed by unseen algorithms. Simultaneously, the very information you consume, the news you believe, the cultural values you uphold, and even your emotional responses are subtly shaped, curated, and amplified by sophisticated algorithms and hyper-realistic AI-generated realities, the engineered consensus, creating a manufactured consensus that makes genuine, critical dissent almost impossible. Now layer on top of this chilling reality a world where essential resources, clean water, nutritious food, vital medicine, are increasingly controlled, not by governments or open markets, but by select few powerful, untraceable private entities, the resource consolidation play. In a time of engineered scarcity, where natural disasters or supply chain disruptions can be strategically leveraged, access to these basic necessities becomes the ultimate currency, the most potent form of leverage. Your digital identity and social score could directly dictate your access to essential goods and services, creating a system of compliance enforced not by overt force or military might, but by the very subtle, yet absolute, threat of deprivation. This isn't about a sudden, dramatic apocalypse that unfolds in a single, devastating moment. It's about a slow, insidious, and undeniable convergence of these powerful control mechanisms, meticulously designed to reach a critical mass, a point of no return, by 2026. The ultimate goal is not widespread destruction. It is a profound and fundamental reordering of human society, where individual autonomy is gradually replaced by automated compliance, and the very concept of freedom becomes an illusion expertly managed by algorithms and unseen architects. The true currency of the future isn't just digital money. It's absolute control over every single aspect of human life, from thought to sustenance. The chilling genius of this blueprint lies in its unparalleled subtlety. Each component, each preparation, is introduced to the public under the guise of ultimate convenience, enhanced security, technological progress, or even benevolent crisis management. No one is explicitly told they are losing their freedom. They are simply given better options, more efficient solutions, or safer alternatives that incrementally, almost imperceptibly, lead to a predefined future. The true horror is the staggering realization that humanity is willingly, enthusiastically, building its own magnificent cage, one piece of technology, one social acceptance, one unnoticed land acquisition at a time. The pervasive silence around these preparations is not accidental. It is the ultimate, most terrifying evidence of their success, a testament to how seamlessly and effectively the plan is already unfolding, right beneath our very noses. These subtle preparations for 2026 are not confined to the borders of the United States. They are a universal phenomenon, a chillingly synchronized global tapestry woven from the threads of human behavior, technological advancement, and societal shifts. This pervasive nature confirms the hypothesis that there are no coincidences, only plans, revealing a master blueprint unfolding across continents, silently perfecting its grip on humanity. In the bustling megacities of Asia, from Tokyo's hyperconnected streets to Shanghai's omnipresent surveillance, the invisible digital chains are being forged at an unprecedented pace. Ubiquitous facial recognition, social credit systems, and digital payment platforms are rapidly becoming integral to daily life, offering unparalleled convenience while simultaneously creating a pervasive, inescapable grid of citizen tracking and behavioral scoring. The acceptance of this seamless control is often driven by a cultural emphasis on collective harmony and national security, making resistance seem almost futile. Across the ancient lands of Europe, the engineered consensus is subtly reshaping public discourse. While seemingly embracing democratic ideals, advanced data analytics and AI-driven news curation subtly manipulate narratives, influencing elections and guiding public opinion towards predetermined outcomes. Debates about misinformation lead to calls for greater centralized control over information flows, effectively stifling dissenting voices under the guise of protecting democracy. The subtlety of this manipulation ensures that populations believe they are making free choices, even as their thoughts are meticulously guided. The resource consolidation play is evident globally, reaching far beyond the American West. In resource-rich nations in Africa and South America, vast tracts of land containing vital minerals, fertile soil, and freshwater sources are being quietly acquired by international shell corporations. These acquisitions often occur in remote, undeveloped regions, far from public scrutiny, under the guise of foreign investment or environmental protection. The sheer scale and secrecy of these global land grabs point to a coordinated strategy for future resource control, preparing for a world where access to basic necessities becomes the ultimate leverage. The terrifying synergy of these preparations across diverse cultures and political systems is too striking to ignore. It suggests a singular, overarching will, silently influencing governments, corporations, and populations. The objective is not uniform governance in the traditional sense, but a pervasive, decentralized network of control that ensures compliance without overt coercion. The silence around these global shifts is perhaps the most terrifying indicator of their success. The world is being prepared for 2026 for a future where control is the currency, and every nation, every citizen, will unwittingly become part of a global, seamless system designed for absolute management. If these preparations are so vast, so pervasive, so undeniably present in our daily lives, then the most profound and unsettling question looms large. Why is no one talking about it? Why isn't this the lead story on every news channel, the subject of every public debate, the urgent call to action from every government? The answer lies not in a simple cover-up, but in the very nature of the control itself, a masterful manipulation of human perception, attention, and complacency that creates a pervasive, almost impenetrable blind spot. Firstly, the sheer subtlety of implementation is a psychological masterpiece. Each preparation is rolled out not as a revolutionary overhaul, but piecemeal, under a seemingly benevolent guise. A new digital ID system for efficiency, an AI-powered app for wellness, a land purchase for development or conservation. Individually, these steps seem harmless, even beneficial, logical responses to modern challenges. It's only when you connect the dots, when you force yourself to step back and observe the grand tapestry, that the chilling, underlying pattern begins to emerge. But seeing this full picture requires a level of critical thinking, cross-referencing, and intellectual vigilance that the engineered consensus actively discourages, promoting instead passive consumption and superficial understanding. Secondly, the overwhelming noise of truth plays a crucial, insidious role. We are so constantly bombarded with a relentless deluge of information, with manufactured outrage, with trivial distractions, that our capacity for discernment is utterly overwhelmed. Any dissenting voice, any attempt to connect these seemingly disparate dots, any warning of an underlying plan, is swiftly and efficiently labeled as conspiracy theory, misinformation, or extremist content, and is then systematically drowned out by the algorithmic amplification of carefully curated mainstream narratives. The truth isn't suppressed by overt force. It's simply lost in the cacophony, irrelevant amidst the overwhelming static of digital white noise. The sheer volume of data acts as a filter, making critical truths invisible. Thirdly, There's the irresistible allure of convenience. The invisible digital chains promise an effortlessly seamless existence, a world without friction or unnecessary complications. The engineered consensus offers simplified answers in an increasingly complex world, a comfortable homogeneity of thought. The allure of comfort, of frictionless living, of instant gratification, is a powerful sedative, lulling populations into a state of willing compliance. People voluntarily trade a degree of their autonomy for the promise of an easier, more secure life, often without recognizing the long-term, devastating implications of this Faustian bargain. The acceptance is gradual, almost imperceptible, a slow boiling of the frog, where freedom is incrementally surrendered for perceived peace. Finally, and perhaps most terrifyingly, there's the sheer, unassailable power of the orchestrators. Those behind this blueprint are not overt dictators or easily identifiable figures. They operate from the deepest shadows of influence, through vast, interconnected networks within the highest echelons of global finance, technology, media, and governance. Their power is so vast, so deeply entrenched, so globally pervasive, that any attempt to expose their plans is met with overwhelming, coordinated resistance, often resulting in the swift public discrediting, marginalization, or outright disappearance of the truth-tellers. The perceived madness or conspiracy-mongering of the messenger becomes a tool to ensure the message itself is dismissed. The chilling silence that surrounds these preparations is not a lack of evidence. It's the most profound evidence of effective, pervasive control. It's a testament to a system so sophisticated, so deeply integrated into the very fabric of our reality, that the very idea of its existence is deemed too outlandish for mainstream discussion. This very silence, this global reluctance to acknowledge the obvious, is the chilling confirmation that control is the currency of the future, and its ultimate value is being established in plain sight, unnoticed by the majority, until it's too late. If these preparations for 2026 are indeed part of a meticulously crafted, dark plan, the implications for humanity are profound, far-reaching, and utterly terrifying. This isn't just about abstract economic shifts or geopolitical power plays. It's about the very essence of human autonomy, individual freedom, and the inherent uniqueness of each consciousness being quietly, systematically redefined, reshaped into something compliant and manageable. What is the true human cost of a future where control is the currency? The invisible digital chains promise a seamlessly efficient existence, a life free of friction and unnecessary complications. But what is the hidden price of such a promise? It's a life where your every movement, every purchase, every digital interaction, every thought expressed online can potentially be tracked, meticulously scored, and subtly influenced. Imagine a society where your digital trust score, a constantly updated metric based on your compliance and online behavior, dictates your access to credit, to housing, to essential healthcare, or even to the ability to leave your city. Where a subtle algorithm can flag you for non-compliance, not based on overt wrongdoing, but on behavioral patterns that deviate from the engineered consensus. The ultimate price is the utter erosion of personal privacy, the slow, agonizing death of genuine spontaneity, and the chilling reality of living in a perpetual state of unseen, all-encompassing surveillance where every corner of your life is monitored. The engineered consensus might appear to bring apparent social harmony, a world without the discord of differing opinions. But this comes at the devastating cost of genuine diversity of thought, of independent critical inquiry. A world where truth is subjective and dictated by algorithms leads to a population that is easily manipulated, less capable of critical thinking, and ultimately far less free. The price is intellectual stagnation, the loss of individual discernment, and the chilling reality of a society that firmly believes it is thinking freely, when its thoughts are, in fact, subtly and meticulously curated by unseen architects. Dissent becomes not just actively suppressed, but systematically made to seem illogical, irrational, or even utterly unimaginable, replaced by an overriding desire for conformity. And the resource consolidation play, perhaps the most existential threat, holds the key to absolute leverage. In a future of manufactured scarcity, where essential resources, clean water, nutritious food, vital medicine, are increasingly controlled by a select few powerful, untraceable entities, compliance becomes paramount for sheer survival. The price is not just economic hardship. It is literal hunger, profound deprivation, and utter vulnerability for those who do not conform to the new order. Access to the most basic necessities of life could become conditional, granted only to those who fully integrate into the new system, whose digital trust score is high enough. This isn't just about wealth redistribution. It's about life and death dictated by an unseen hand, a power derived from controlling humanity's most fundamental biological needs. The human cost of this blueprint is nothing less than the gradual, insidious surrender of our very free will, our inherent individuality, and our capacity for genuine, unprogrammed, spontaneous existence. This isn't a future of literal, visible chains, but of invisible, systemic ones, far more insidious because they are self-imposed, willingly accepted under the irresistible guise of convenience, security, or dire necessity. By 2026, if these preparations continue unchecked, humanity may find itself in a magnificent, glittering cage of its own making, its freedom subtly traded for perceived comfort and a false sense of order. This is the ultimate danger when control is the currency of the future, and humanity becomes the ultimate commodity. If there are no coincidences, only plans, and if control is the currency of the future, then the most profound, unsettling, and ultimately terrifying question looms over us. Who are true architects of this grand blueprint for 2026? Who are these unseen hands meticulously guiding humanity towards a predetermined future, orchestrating events from behind a veil of plausible deniability? The answer, buried beneath layers of secrecy, disinformation, and historical revisionism, points to an entity far more complex, more pervasive, and more deeply entrenched than any single, easily identifiable group. The traditional narrative, popularized by folklore and fiction, often points to the Illuminati, the legendary secret society. While officially disbanded centuries ago, theories persist that they merely went deeper underground, evolving into a vast, intricate network of influence. This network, they argue, wouldn't be a simple, hierarchical pyramid with a single leader. Instead, it would be a decentralized, yet perfectly coordinated web of interconnected individuals and organizations operating within the highest echelons of global finance, technology, media, and governance. Their true power, the ciphers suggest, lies not in overt commands, but in their unparalleled ability to subtly influence policy, discreetly fund strategic research initiatives, quietly acquire key assets, and meticulously shape public opinion without ever revealing their true hand. Consider the world's most powerful private banks and financial institutions, operating from the traditional power centers of London City and New York's Wall Street. What if these are not just independent entities driven solely by profit, but interconnected nodes in a larger, meticulously planned financial web, quietly implementing the economic recalibration through engineered debt, strategic digital currency initiatives, and carefully controlled market fluctuations? Their motives, veiled behind the seemingly benign pursuit of capital, might in fact be integral to a larger plan for absolute control, where financial leverage is the ultimate weapon. Think of the undisputed tech giants of California's Silicon Valley, building the very infrastructure of our digital lives. What if their celebrated innovations, the pervasive AI, the ubiquitous social media platforms, the seamless biometric systems, are not just commercial endeavors driven by market demand, but tools being subtly guided by this unseen influence to construct the technological consolidation and facilitate the engineered consensus? Their relentless pursuit of universal connectivity and efficiency could inadvertently, or intentionally, be serving a purpose far beyond their stated mission, creating the invisible digital chains that bind us all. And what about the myriad think tanks and policy groups operating in the hushed corridors of power in Washington, D.C. and Brussels? Organizations that propose solutions to global crises, shape international policy, and influence public discourse through meticulously crafted reports and expert opinions. What if these are more than just independent intellectual hubs, but conduits through which the narrative control is meticulously crafted and disseminated, pushing specific agendas under the guise of expert advice, public interest, or philanthropic initiatives? The true power, as revealed by the cryptic cadence ciphers, lies in the devastating synergy of these seemingly disparate sectors. It's the silent, perfectly coordinated collaboration between finance, technology, media, and policymaking, a pervasive, interconnected network of influence where each piece serves a larger, unseen purpose. The architects of this blueprint for 2026 are not necessarily a single, visible group with a grand title, but a pervasive, interconnected network of influence, driven by a shared, unyielding vision of a highly controlled, optimized, and managed global society. Their ultimate goal is not necessarily destruction, but absolute, unchallenged control, where control is the currency of the future, and every facet of human existence becomes a managed commodity within their grand design. The chilling silence is their greatest tool. As the final, fleeting months of 2025 bled into the terrifying reality of 2026, the world could no longer ignore the chilling alignment of these preparations with the unfolding global landscape. The very silence that had so skillfully shrouded them now seemed to shriek like the loudest, most undeniable warning. The signs are everywhere. If only we choose to truly see them, to question the manufactured normalcy. The invisible digital chains are tightening their grip with frightening speed. Biometric systems are not just common. They are becoming almost mandatory in public facilities, not just for security, but for seamless integration into a proposed national and eventually global digital identity. Digital currency pilots gain traction with overwhelming public support, promising unprecedented convenience but inexorably ushering in an era where every transaction is meticulously trackable, every asset potentially controllable, every individual's financial existence managed. The massive subterranean data centers quietly built in remote areas across the Midwest are no longer just storage. They are the processing hubs of this new, unseen grid designed to manage every aspect of our lives by mid-2026. The irresistible allure of convenience is too strong to refuse, and tragically, few question the underlying profound loss of autonomy. The engineered consensus is now a palpable force, subtly dictating collective thought. News cycles are dominated by carefully curated narratives, making it increasingly impossible to discern objective truth from expertly crafted illusion. AI-generated content, from news anchors delivering fabricated reports to social media influencers subtly pushing agendas, now shapes public opinion with terrifying effectiveness, creating a pervasive, manufactured reality that rewards conformity and ruthlessly punishes independent thought. Debates are polarized, driven by algorithms that push us further into ideological echo chambers, reinforcing predetermined beliefs. The ability to think critically, to question authority, to engage in genuine discernment, is being subtly eroded, replaced by a collective desire for simple, comforting answers, even if those answers are carefully constructed lies. The resource consolidation play has revealed its true, chilling colors. Unexplained, massive land acquisitions by anonymous corporations continue unabated across the American Southwest, securing vital water rights and vast agricultural lands in areas consistently predicted to face future scarcity due to climate shifts. Strategic stockpiling of essential goods, from advanced medical supplies to non-perishable food, continues quietly in secure, private facilities. These seemingly isolated business deals are, in fact, meticulously timed moves in a larger, high-stakes game, designed to ensure that control is the currency of the future, making access to basic necessities an absolute leverage point against non-compliance. The very air seems to hum with the unspoken understanding that survival itself could become conditional. These aren't just abstract theories. They are concrete, observable patterns. The very fact that these massive, synchronized shifts are occurring globally, yet remain largely uncommented upon by mainstream discourse, a silence so deafening it becomes a roar, is the most terrifying evidence of their true purpose. The pieces of the Illuminati's 2026 blueprint are not just falling into place. They are locking into an intricate, inescapable system with chilling precision. Humanity, caught in the relentless grip of this grand design, is indeed being enveloped. The silence is not merely deafening. It is the chilling sound of our collective future being silently rewritten. The chilling reality of the preparations for 2026 is no longer a distant threat. It is the very fabric of our present. As we navigate this pivotal year, the subtle signs we've explored are intensifying, demanding our immediate, unwavering attention. Is it a mere coincidence that global society is experiencing an unprecedented integration of pervasive surveillance, a relentless manipulation of information, and a quiet, systematic consolidation of vital resources? Or are these undeniable symptoms of a grander, meticulously orchestrated design, a strategic blueprint guiding humanity towards a predetermined future where free will becomes an archaic concept? The question no longer is if these powerful forces are at play, but what we are willing to do with this unsettling, paradigm-shifting knowledge. The central message is undeniable, resonating with a terrifying clarity. Control is the currency of the future, and that currency is being meticulously established, being forged and perfected through the insidious integration of the invisible digital chains, the omnipresent engineered consensus, and the absolute resource consolidation play. These aren't just abstract concepts debated in academic circles. They are the very experiences of your daily life, intensifying with every passing moment, demanding a choice. Remain passive and allow these changes to sweep over you, or courageously choose to awaken and reclaim your agency. This isn't about fear-mongering. It's about profound empowerment. It's about recognizing that you, as an individual, hold the key to your own perception, to your own autonomy, to your very capacity for genuine freedom. You possess the inherent power to resist the subtle, yet powerful, currents of control. You can choose to question the manufactured narratives, to actively seek out genuine, unadulterated information, and to fiercely protect your privacy and your personal liberty against an encroaching system. Your conscious awareness, your personal awakening, can be the crucial spark that ignites the larger, collective change, one vigilant soul at a time. Remember, the blueprint is not an external, unavoidable force that dictates your destiny with absolute predetermination. It is fundamentally a series of meticulously planned cadences. Yes, but its ultimate success hinges on collective and individual choices. These are choices that either lead you further into the comfortable, alluring illusion, or bravely guide you towards the challenging, often uncomfortable, light of truth. The future of humanity may hinge not on grand, cataclysmic, apocalyptic events, but on whether enough individuals choose to consciously awaken, to truly see the hidden strings being pulled, and to courageously resist dancing blindly to a predetermined tune. So I challenge you directly, here and now. Take a moment. Look around you, truly look beyond the surface. Disconnect from the pervasive, distracting noise. Reconnect with independent thought, with your own inner voice. Question the dominant narratives. Cultivate your discernment, sharpen your critical thinking. Recognize the subtle, yet profound shifts occurring in our world and within ourselves. The preparations may have begun, but their ultimate outcome is not yet fully written. Leave your deepest thoughts and insights in the comments below. Have you felt these subtle preparations in your own life? What steps are you taking to resist this increasing, pervasive control? Do you possess the courage, the conviction, the inner fortitude to share this vital warning with your friends, your family, your world? Share this video far and wide. Let's collectively unravel the profound mysteries that powerful entities tirelessly attempt to hide from us all. The time for passive observation, for comfortable ignorance is over. The time for conscious awakening and decisive action has arrived. Your choice today, your awakening, shapes tomorrow's reality. What will your legacy be in a world where control is the ultimate currency?